I just spent $2,300 to blind buy a collection. It just came in. Let's see if it was worth it. Now, I did see some of the cards, went through some of the higher value cards and comped those ones out specifically. But the vast majority of this collection, I haven't seen. We worked out just a price per card. So going to be very curious to see whether or not the $2,300 was worth it or not. Let's get to it. So he shipped out all the stuff in these Ziplocs, which, hey, I big time appreciate making sure that things are packaged and shipped well. I said to him, make sure, especially just on the bigger cards. Like there's one card in particular that's a very big one, and I wanted to make sure that one was packaged well. He packaged the whole thing super well, honestly, from what I'm seeing here. But gonna be very, very curious. Given that we bought this blind, I don't know what I'm getting into. You don't know what you're getting into. Let's have some fun. See what we get. So it's going to be a little bit of a process. This probably is going to be a longer video, but hoping it results in some cool stuff. Ooh, I already like what I see. And this is one of the reasons, though, why it's tough to buy a blind collection is, you saw the Aaron Judge Bowman, which was a very nice card, but you also see Andre Lipskis. It's a numbered card. It's a solid one, but he's not the biggest of names. So, like Robert Poisson, definitely did not end up being anybody. Matsui at a 15, that's solid. Basically, what I go through here now is I'm going to go through and try and see, which cards are quote-unquote worth it and which ones I probably am not going to do anything with. Like, a lot of these rookies that are just no-name players are not going to end up seeing the light of day, will end up being freebies in terms of, future mystery packs, things like that. And what it ultimately comes down to is to whether or not this was a okay buy or a good buy, or maybe even a bad buy, hopefully not, is going to be how much of it is good that I think I'm going to sell and how much of it is not good that I don't think that I'm going to sell. So that's going to be really, really interesting to go through and see. I'm going to start going through this kind of quicker, and I will try and do that sorting later. I think for the sake of this video, it probably makes sense to try and be a little quicker. Hey, Josh Young, rookie at a 99. I'll stop on some of the nicer stuff, but not all of it. Like, that's not going to get it done, but a lot of these are. This first stack, I know, and then granted, this is probably, by the look of it, one of the numbered stacks. You told me the number of numbered cards that I was getting, the number of rookies/inserts, things like that. So definitely some solid stuff here. Nice on that Mookie at a 75 on the gold. O'Neal Cruz gold. I know a few guys who will like that. Chapman, Vladdy, and then Chris Martin. All right, let me grab the next bag. All right, unboxed a few of those. So this looks like it's more the standard type of thing, which is where these piles are going to be the big determinant as to whether or not there is value here or not. Because, like, Joey Weimer, Adley, that's a solid one. Definitely will be able to sell Adley, but base Aaron Judge, more common parallels are where there's some struggles for me. Some people are a lot more willing to just sell anything and everything. I'm a little bit pickier personally. Put the RAM there. I might go on the PC. We'll see. But like Shota Logo Fractor, Ellie, Langford, like those are all solid. So with playing this, buying these, this is ultimately a game of averages and seeing, hey, White Hole, that's a nice refractor parallel there. Ultimately, it's a game of averages and seeing how many end up being good cards and how many end up being ones that realistically, had I been at a show and this was not buying this blind, that I wouldn't have been interested in, touched, grabbed, etc. I told the guy, when I buy big collections, I generally can do it one of two ways. You can either send me the whole thing for me to look it over and, give you a price that I think is fair for the entire collection, or I can, at a cheaper rate, just buy everything. And the reason that rate is cheaper is because I know that the hit rate is probably going to be at best 50%, in terms of cards that I'm actually going to see myself selling and moving, compared to really seeing it and really knowing what's coming, then I can be what I think is more accurate on buying stuff because I know what's coming. I know exactly what it is, and I can be intentional about the price that I'm paying. This person opted to take the blind buy option, which worries me a lot of the times, but so far what I've seen, I think I'm going to do good, probably not great, but time will tell. We've still got a lot of stuff to go through. But it really comes down to the hit rate. It's tough for me because I don't really sell base. I don't really do guys who aren't big names. I'm not going to put them into a big lot. A lot of guys maybe will, build team lots, things like that. And depending on how many cards I have after this, I may try and do something like that. But I tend to... One of the things that I'm a firm believer in when it comes to selling singles, my Whatnot stream, etc., is you want to have cards that people are actually interested in and want to see. By having stuff that is, Enrique Bradfield Jr. prismatic, like I might be able to get $2 for it, which, hey, that's $2 that I didn't have before, but it's also something that I know that my average buyer is probably not super interested in. And I want to make sure that I've got stuff that they actually are interested in, which is where I tend to be picky. But I know I've got mystery packs. I know I've got things like that. So I can use a lot of some of this lower end, non-huge rookies, base rookies, because base rookies still garner a certain level of interest. Like I know Gunnar Henderson base rookie does solid. Is that refractor? Nah, just the base. I'll go in the PC binder. Austin Wells negative. That's a solid one. It's always fun to see what you find, but like base Gunnar Henderson on the common, yeah. But a Gunnar X-Fractor, I'll sell that. So that Soto Rainbow Foil is probably going to stay in the PC as well. Checkerboard on that Caminero. And last stack before I have to do some more unwrapping because I've still got 6 more bags plus the high-end stuff, which you guys aren't going to want to miss. Trust me. There's one card in particular there that I'm hoping we can grade and we'll pay for half this lot. Just put it that way. And we'll see what happens with it. But it's always interesting. Jared Jones had a really strong start to the season, but then kind of fell off. Always interesting, though. Always fun to go through this, and I figured I would take you guys behind the scenes and show you as the first time I'm seeing it. A lot of times when I do PSA, that's an image variation. That's a nice one. Sweet. And that was just in the regular pile. So my bet, and this is a thing that happens, is he may or may not have been aware that that was an image variation. Which I'll comp it. If it's a big card, I'll throw him some extra money. It's Kierstead, so my guess is it's a $20, $30 card, which is not in the worth. If it was an Ellie De La Cruz rookie auto, which you may see one. Okay, yeah, it's a different conversation. But Ohtani on the tops now. So there's only like 600,000 of those. No big deal. But remember, tops now, not a good investment. If you're investing in tops now, it's a mistake. And I say that jokingly. I've gotten some crap on Instagram for on TikTok for defending tops now. I'll give you my perspective on that after I open up the next lot of cards here. All right, unwrapped the majority of the rest of them. All that I have left is just kind of the slabs and the higher end singles. But some of these logo fractors will sell, some of them will not. Because Logo Fractor is a popular set. Holiday, again. Holiday, you've got a very small window to do well on because the singles prices tend to dip. Mason Win on the Logo Fractor. That one we could do well on. But the singles prices tend to dip pretty quickly because since there's just so many cards in each box, the population on them tends to be very, very high. But still some fun stuff. And long-term, people do find them enjoyable, which ultimately does help. Decent Julio refractor there. De Los Santos, I think, is one of the decent prospects out of Bowman Chrome this year. Bowman Chrome did not have the greatest of checklists, I will say that. It honestly was better for rookies than it was for prospects, which is tough because normally Bowman Chrome is a prospect-first product, but a lot of the guys in Bowman Chrome, and this is true historically, but a lot of them end up being younger international guys, which can end up being super good. Like Jackson Churio was a Bowman Chrome guy, but it can take sometimes years to see whether or not that investment in that player and that card is going to come to fruition, which sometimes, Rise, that's a decent one, can hurt the value of the cards because people move on. What happens is you've got Bowman hype, basically, where people are coming in and the big name is this 16-year-old kid out of Venezuela, which they can be huge. I mean, Jackson Churio, I think he signed at 16 out of Venezuela, but it also can take him, Jackson Churio, if he signed at 16, it takes you 4 years to get yourself to the majors, and he got up at 20, which most players are not able to do that. So it can be a little challenging because once then the next set of Bowman comes out, a lot of times people have already kind of moved on to the next big thing, next prospect, next what if, which you then will see prices drop. An example that I'll give for you there is Walker Jenkins with the Twins. He had a great first year as a prospect. Fantastic season. But he's young. He's a high school bat. Doesn't seem like the Twins are not a team that tends to be pretty aggressive with their players. So my guess is it's going to be a couple of years until we see him. And his market dipped, despite the fact that he played incredibly well. And that's simply and truly just because, well, he's not the new hot prospect. That's a short print, by the way, the Stadium Club throwback variation. Don't know how short printed, but it is a short print, I can tell you that. These are out of Allen and Ginter. Some of the variations, like that Ohtani will sell for a few bucks. It's always a joy going through so many cards. And I'm going to do it twice because I got to go back again and resort it. But on that first stack, I was trying to sort the good and the bad, and that was just going to take way, way too... I mean, this video, as I said, is already going to be a fairly longer one. We're getting close. You guys, obviously, I will say you want to stay to the end because that's where we've got the higher end stuff. This stuff, though, I always worry, and it's not the majority, but I always worry when I see a lot of Prism baseball or a lot of Donruss baseball. I don't want to buy a lot where a majority of it is non-licensed because it's just so hard to sell. Like Bo Jackson, that one I'll probably be able to move, but some of the no-name guys or some of the just more common parallels, or like these. The Stars of the MLB, it's a giveaway card. Not one that realistically holds a ton of value because they are just so common. It's crazy how common they are. You're like 4 per pack. If you're opening fat packs, I think it is. A couple of Dominguez logo fractors, though. Red on that Harper is solid. Thought that Jordan was a refractor. It unfortunately was not. Volpe Sapphire. It's not bad. Got one more stack of regular singles, and then we've got autos, and then I'll show you guys the nice stuff. Curious what these are. I mean, it's Leaf Trinity, but those aren't numbered. I'm curious what product they're out of. Jason Wynn refractor there. That's not bad. Corbin Green. So much base. And that's one of the things I kind of knew coming into this, but we will see. I will, once I finish this, pause the video, go do my sorting and tell you how many cards of this I'm going to deem that I think that I will sell, to then give you a sense as to what my hit rate is. But we're getting close to the end of my first look through. The second time it'll be easier. PCA. Now for the autos. So I saw some wild card stuff at the back, which I do not like to see, but that's, what can you do there? But some decent ones there at the front. Colt Keith, it's not a licensed one, but we'll take it. Fergie Jenkins. Actually got a signed baseball of Fergie Jenkins. Luis Matos. I actually pulled that exact Samad Taylor. Luis Castillo's not bad. Rafaela blue logo fractor. Okay. That's a nice one. Heliot Ramos. Parker Meadows. Corbin. So not too much to ride home about here. Luis Angel Acuna. That one will... He's a big enough name that he'll sell, but being wild card, it's not a huge product. All right, let me open up the higher end singles as well as the few slabs that were in this lot. All right, so I've got some higher end singles and then some nice slabs. So Paul Skeens on the pumpkin short print, Harper on the gold logo fractor. This one's out of 5, so it's not the biggest of names, but a first Bowman red out of 5. Definitely take that. That Mookie is at a 99. Okay, I was gonna say the foil here means that it's numbered. I've seen that before. Yamamoto out of 199 is decent. That's one of the gold mirror. Can't mean it's not the biggest of names, but still. Skeens on the refractor and the X-fractor. Emerson Hancock, Sal Frelick. Some of the bigger ones here. So you got Heston Kierstad on the Aqua Wave Auto. Jackson Churio. This one is super off-center, unfortunately, but on the blue logo fractor. Ronald Acuna Jr. on the orange Mojo, 5 out of 25. Aaron Judge in the Planetary Pursuit Mercury. Ellie on the purple Sonar. That one also, unfortunately, pretty off-center left to right, but still, purple Sonar Ellie. Ellie on the blue-green Lava Lamp at a 125. Soto on the Future So Bright Refractor Auto. This one's super cool. Debating whether or not this will stay in the PC or not. It's a good-looking card, though. Acuna on the National Pack at a 5. Big-time card here. Definitely looks really, really nice. Very curious to see if that one's gradable. And then the biggest one was the Ellie Magenta Purple Vaporwave Auto out of 299, excuse me. So that one looks solid. It's a little top heavy, but left to right looks solid. That one I'm probably going to send to PSA, assuming the surface is fairly clean. And then our slabs, we got the Ellie Speckle, Otani tops now, Skeens tops now 10, Fernando Tatis on the refractor, and then Ellie on the 8.5. This one's tough. They really only knocked it on the centering, which, like, it's off left to right, but I'm probably going to crack this and send this to SGC, see what happens with it. So that's everything. Let me go through and sort again and tell you guys how many cards of these I'm ending up keeping outside of, these higher end ones that I just showed you. All right, so in total, after sorting through everything, there was 205 cards that I grabbed that I said, these are ones that I realistically think that I'm going to sell. Now, what's interesting there is that's actually fairly close. I think pure metrics-wise, I probably overpaid by my markers just a little bit. Generally, when buying this stuff, I would pay between $2 and $4, maybe up to $5 if the stuff was really, really nice. This stuff was pretty middle of the road. There's some nice stuff, but a lot of that nice stuff was in the pile that's the stuff that we comped. So If I paid $4 per card here, which again is a little more than I probably would have, but it's within the range of what I normally do, that would have put my total value on the lot at $21.50 basically. So over by $150 in theory. But that is nice, and one of the things that this is really important too, is this helps me refine my process when buying big lots. Being able to see, a lot of times I go through these and I want to do this work because I want to know how accurate my offer actually was. He had 1,000 cards, and I had basically a 25% hit rate. So that shows you what the kind of collection was, what it would look like. Knowing that there's a 25% hit rate, you want to make sure that you're accurate in terms of your total valuation. Now we agreed to 2,300. He basically net out $150 ahead of what I probably would have offered him had I known every single card in this collection. But when operating at a scale of 1,000 plus cards, I feel like within $150 is pretty reasonable. And given that we've got some of this higher end stuff like that Ellie, the Acuna, etc., I'm hoping some of it's gradable and we can do some stuff with it. I think we will still do well in this lot. I'm not in any way saying that we won't, but definitely was interesting to see and go through this live, see what it was, because that helps me refine my process. Knowing and looking and saying what I offer for your autos, for your numbered cards, for your inserts and parallels, your base / refractors, etc., helps me be better. And that's one of the things, I always take that learning mindset. So very, very excited to move this stuff and look through some of that high-end stuff to see if it's worth grading. If you guys want to see more videos like this, lot breakdowns, collection buys, etc., make sure to follow along. Always appreciate you guys checking out on all the platforms, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, you name it. Helps out big time. So appreciate you guys being here, watching the video, making it to this point. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think, and I will catch you in the next one.